All right, up next is another Engage story, a really timely one. The election is just a few short weeks away, maybe you've heard. Drew Davies is the founder of Oxide Design Co., and he's going to tell us about ways that we can all connect with our city governments across the country to integrate design into one of the most important aspects of American life, voting.
Good afternoon. I'm Drew Davies, as he just told you. I want to talk today. They gave me 5 minutes to cover a topic that should probably take about 5 hours, so I'm going to see how much of it I can get through. But if any of you have been sitting there thinking, boy, this is a lot of like high-level, 30,000-foot view thinking, I think they brought me in to bring all that down to foundational level. I'm going to give you a variety of things today, basically an overview of what AIGA Design for Democracy is and what we've been up to, and then I'm actually going to give you a real live action step you can take while sitting in your seats, tweeting and whatnot, while I'm still here on stage. I own Oxide Design Co. We are a communications and information design firm out of Omaha, Nebraska. I also serve as the design director of AIGA's Design for Democracy program. This is the on-paper description of what AIGA Design for Democracy does. In reality, it's about bringing design thinking to the process, typically of election design. In our case, that means everything from voter informational materials to ballots to the systems of actually voting and getting to the polling place and whatnot. What we're trying to do is achieve one of the missions of AIGA about demonstrating the value of design to the public by showing them how design can improve the process. It's a fairly concrete process most days. It's forms design, it's ballot design, it's very straightforward kind of basic stuff. On the flip side, I like to think of it as one of the most aspirational goals we could possibly have, the idea that I work on Design for Democracy because I believe every person in America should be able to have not only the right to vote, but the ability to vote accurately and with trust that that process is happening. So you've heard a lot lately about voter fraud and whatnot. There's another 2-hour discussion I could have about that and the fact that allowable error rates in ballot counting machines are actually higher than the percentages of voter fraud. In reality, all of those are dwarfed by the fact that a lot of people go to the polls to vote and inaccurately record votes because of the design of the process and the design of the ballots. And we could eradicate the idea of voter fraud being a problem in terms of how many votes it affects if we took care of allowing people to vote accurately. AIGA Design for Democracy has been up to a lot of things, which I will run through extremely quickly. We've been in existence since 1998. Really, things came to a head in 2000. I won't take you guys back through the floating Chads, whatever discussion. One of the main things we did is 2 years of work culminated in a document we like to call Effective Designs for the Administration of Federal Elections, commissioned by the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. It's a best practices of ballot design nationwide. We can't require that from the states, but it stands as sort of the de facto standard at this point in time we're trying to move people towards. We've developed out of that a very simplified set of top 10 election guidelines that we send around to county commissioners and election officials across the nation to try and give them those top steps they can do without having to read through the 400 pages of that EAC document. They're things like literally use big enough type. We've got a couple of election fellows placed in states like Washington and Oregon that are people on the ground, communications designers that are helping get the work done of actually improving the voting process, the voter information materials and whatnot in those states. Currently, we're working with the Brennan Center and a few other partners on getting the Voter-Friendly Ballot Act put into place in New York State. I don't know if anyone here is from New York and had to suffer through either the lever machines or last major election's debacle of their sort of silly ballot that came out of that. We're working to enact legislation in the Assembly. This actually passed one half of the Assembly last session. We're hoping to move it forward into next session, get it passed in both houses. We also just worked with a couple of partners to produce a set of election design field guides. These are like the Next step beyond the top 10 set, it's a set of little pocket guide scout books that each cover a certain topic. One of them's on ballot design. One of them's actually on simplifying instructional language. One of them's about actually usability testing ballots. 5 minutes will go by really fast while you're standing up here on stage. Last project we're working on right now is to build a best practices, really a universal standard for online electronic voting, where you can actually allow a lot more people with a lot more accessibility issues to vote from machines they're comfortable on and machines they already know how to use and accurately record their votes anytime, anywhere. We've gotten a grant from the Information Technology Innovation Foundation and the US EAC to do that. Last but not least, I promised you actionable steps. I've run out of my 5 minutes already, but I want to encourage you all to do something for me that you can do in the next 5 minutes or in the next couple of days that we can really make a great stride forward. I want you to go to ballotup.com. There's instructions there about uploading sample ballots from your local jurisdiction. We're trying to create the world's largest repository of sample ballots so that we have a huge reference material as we try and move forward with making ballots better and better. So on Ballot Up, you'll find instructions about going to your local website, county election website, finding sample ballots. We'd love to have every one of you in the room not only upload your own sample ballots, tell your networks about it, get excited, tweet it out, send it around, and it'll help us immensely in terms of moving election design forward. If you need more info on DFD, other than the 30 seconds I gave you on it today, you can check out dfd.aiga.org. Again, let me reiterate, to take action today, go to ballotup.com, and I welcome you to email me or tweet me at DrewOxide if you have any questions or if you want to continue a dialogue about how you might be able to get involved in a more deep way about election design. I want to thank you very much for the time, and thanks to the GAIN people for having me here.